Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. Just wanted to hurry and make a quick little video letting you all know that I was recently on a podcast called the Early Bird Podcast. Now, if you guys are trying to figure out where it is or where you guys can find it, well, first of all, I'm going to leave a link down in the description of this video, so make sure you follow that link down below, and it will link you straight to the episode that I was actually on with the Early Bird Podcast, and the title of that episode is Safe Stock Sectors to Invest in Right Now. But if you guys are trying to figure it out some other way, this is what the logo of the podcast actually looks like, so that will help you find them on social media, because you should totally be following Steven and the Early Bird Podcast on Twitter as well. And while you're over there and checking out some episodes of the Early Bird Podcast, why don't you take a look at some of these other episodes that he's done as well. He's had lots of really cool, awesome people on the show already, including myself, of course, but he's done a lot of awesome episodes already, and I really do think that you guys as my audience are really going to enjoy a lot of the content that he's already produced over there. And there's lots of listening that you guys can do. So if you guys are looking for something to like listen to in the car, which I know I love listening to podcasts in the car, well, this is going to be a really great way for you guys to do that, and I really do think you're going to enjoy Steven's content that he produces. So yeah, seriously, go check out this podcast, listen to the episode I was on, as well as a couple of other episodes that he's got on there. I think you will all really enjoy it, and make sure you follow him on Twitter as well. Now, I want to hurry and talk a little bit about what we said on the podcast, because we were talking about sectors to invest in, right? Safe ones to invest in. And, I think I had some controversial opinions for sure. I think I'm going to be a little bit controversial with his audience, as well as the whole finance community in general. Now, if you're part of my audience here on YouTube, you might not be so like, what the hell is this guy saying kind of a thing when you listen to it and hear that my favorite sector out of the 5 that we outlined. I'm only going to tell you my favorite here on the channel. You got to go watch the podcast, or listen to the podcast rather, to get the other 4 that we talked about. But the one that I think is actually going to outperform the S&P 500 the very most, consumer discretionaries. Now, I don't think it's going to be a very popular opinion, because now we're in an actual paper recession right now. So I think most investors have this mindset of, whoa, recession, I got to stay the hell away from the consumer. I got to get away from consumer discretionaries. Why the heck are you even talking like that right now? Kidding, are you freaking crazy? And the answer is, yeah, I'm a little bit crazy, okay? I am a little bit nuts and out of my mind. But let me tell you my philosophy on this, guys. Here's the thing. PE multiples, they've compressed down to where I think that they're not going to be moving too much from this point forward. Now, we talk about these kind of things when we do our $10,000 account episodes every week, and we actually talked about these sectors too in those episodes just last week. So make sure you're watching that series here on the channel. But no, PE compression already came down to where I feel like PEs are pretty dang stable. So what does that mean as far as when we're trying to look for growth? Well, we're trying to look for places to where EPS growth is poised to go up from this point. And when we start looking at that and looking at forward projections into 2024, well, guess which sector has the best EPS growth going forward? Consumer discretionaries. As far as what consensus say right now, consumer discretionaries are poised for the most EPS growth going forward from this point. Now, yes, I get it. It's not a popular opinion, but it is my opinion. And as far as what I'm seeing and looking at data and listening to earnings calls, I really do believe it. I think that there is some strong reasons to believe this right now. I mean, when we look at the card holders like Visa or Amex, they're telling us the consumer's strong. Today, we had Apple and Amazon come out, and they're telling us, hey, consumer's strong, and we're actually going to give you guys some pretty good guidance, and we just barely beat on our earnings at the same time. That's a good sign for the consumer. You talk about the banks, JP Morgan, the big boys. They say the consumer's strong. Look at bank balances. They're up on checking accounts, guys. So to me, it all kind of makes sense. I go, yeah, consumer discretionaries could be doing really well, and I've been seeing this for some time, and that's why some of my biggest positions are actually in consumer discretionary stocks. And then last week on the $10,000 account episode, we actually put money into all 5 sectors that we talked about on the Early Bird Podcast. And I did that because we were just barely on the podcast, so I thought it would be kind of fun to just do a little experiment in the $10,000 account and put my money where my mouth is, and actually put some money into each ETF in the correlating sector. And I'll tell you what, guys, as far as today at least, which sector do you think is doing the very best so far since I bought those ETFs? Consumer discretionary. So whether or not it is a popular belief that consumer discretionaries are going to do well from this point, it is definitely my opinion that I feel like they're going to do well from this point. Not financial advice by any means. We don't give financial advice on this channel. But as far as what I believe, I think that consumer discretionaries are poised for a good next couple of years, because they have been thrown out with the trash this year, and they have just been deserted by Wall Street. But now that we're getting closer and closer to a market bottom, and we're seeing that, hey, inflation might be on its way down, and the Fed could be closer and closer to pivoting and starting to actually loosen monetary policy again, or at least slow down on the tightening cycle, well, guess what's going to happen? I think Wall Street's going to go, holy shit, we're leaving these guys in the dust. We need to get back in. And as soon as that happens, you better bet that these stocks are going to go back to the moon, guys. So if you guys enjoyed this little video, just let me know down below in the comments section. And if you guys went over and checked out his podcast, also let me know down there in the comments section below. Again, go check out his podcast. Go follow him on Twitter. He does a great job, the Early Bird Podcast. You guys are going to love it. I just know it already. And also, while you guys are here and we're talking about things, I'm going to let you guys know that I'm going to be out of town on vacation till Wednesday of next week. So it might be a little bit different on my video release schedule. Not so many full videos that are in the studio, really well produced, that kind of a thing, coming to the channel right away at least. But I will probably still be making some shorts content while I'm gone, so I'm not going to be gone entirely. But I wanted to just let my audience know that yes, the reason I'm not posting as much over the next week as far as full-length content is totally because I'm going to be in California, hanging out, having some fun, and on vacation. So anyway, guys, until next video, until probably next short, peace.